Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the Talladega Superspeedway for part 2 of our Friday night LSRTV doubleheader for round number 6 on the iSuperspeedway Season 5 campaign with the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. Tonight feature race 6 from Lincoln, Alabama, and the A-Main, B-Main format. Back in action tonight, the Z's drivers get prepped for the qualifier round to get into the A-Main tonight. B-Main action just about 3 minutes away. I want to welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pizzoco, joined by Andy Kessler and as well Jared Haggerty, guys. Another race, another week, this time again back at it, the B-Main and the A-Main from Dega. 24 laps, though, the first objective for these guys to get completed tonight. 24 to get in, and then 47 to get the job done. We get things kicked off here in just about 2 minutes. These guys right now working through their single car qualifying. Very overcast skies this afternoon at Talladega.
Yeah, kind of a gloomy night here at Talladega, but that's not going to take away from the racing we got here tonight, Evan. 3 wide action, 2 wide action. We're at Dega, plenty of room on the racetrack. But here's the kicker, like you said, 24 laps. You don't have much time to get it done if you want to make it into the A-Main here tonight. The top 15 plus 1 are going to make it. So, 16, top 16 plus 1 are going to make it into the main feature in the A-Main here just after this one. So with 24 laps, you really can't just ride. You really got to get it done. We should see some exciting racing here in this first B-Main.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Andy. And these guys are going to be going all out because remember, if you do not qualify this B-Main, you are not going to make it into the A-Main. And remember, the A-Main is the top 12 drivers who made it into the top 12 from last week's race. So those guys have already qualified, but these guys right now are going to be going at it here as we drop the green flag at Talladega.
And with that being such a relatively short B-Main, and again, because we're at Talladega, though, it's actually one of the longer feature race splits that we'll see on the season. You'll see as many as, 25 laps and such at Daytona. Talladega, we know, just a little bit longer. Take a quick look at the track facts for the Talladega Superspeedway. 2.66 miles in length. And the biggest thing about all of that is you're looking at the distance, you're looking at the banking, 33 degrees in 1 and 2, 32.4 and 0.5 down in 3 and 4. It should be an exciting one nonetheless. It is this qualifier session begins to wind down. We do get set to get the B-Main underway. The big thing that you see in these B-Mains, Andy, is that if you get a caution flag, and again, you could probably, bet on getting a caution flag early. If we're going to see some chaos, it could very well come in the B-Main. We've seen that many a time so far this season in our limited races that we have seen with these feature races. You get a caution. That's probably 20% of the race gone onto that caution flag doing your pace laps out of the 24 we got.
Yeah, we've had a couple of these this season, Evan, where we've had 2 or 3 cautions in this B-Main, and it didn't give these guys any time to get up to the front. So, like I said earlier, it's going to be one of these events where these guys are really they got to get up front. They got to get in that top half of that field if they want to move on to the A-Main tonight. Obviously, they didn't get it done earlier to get in there, so this is basically their last chance to get in there. You're going to see some exciting passes, some exciting finishes, and I don't think it'll take long for that top group to get in.
So the field gonna hit the grid and we get set. Time to go B-Main racing from Talladega. Again, part 2 of our doubleheader, and after tonight, the number becomes 7. Just 7 races will remain until the cut for the iSuper Chase. We'll talk about the iSuper Chase grid and more as we progress throughout the night of racing. But it's big track racing, short track style. Let's rack 'em and stack 'em. Take a look at your LSRTV starting grid set by single car qualifications. 49.841. I can't say I'm surprised much at all in this one. Set the Merchant taking on the checkered flag just minutes ago in the Rod Car Truck Tour. We'll start off his night on a positive step. The Target Chevrolet will start from pole position. Outside on him, you'll find that number 88, Mark Jorgensen Jr. Not surprised to see him near the front in second. Joshua Hanner will start from third alongside in fourth, Rod Flag. And Stephanie Lessentine, hello, inside the top 5, the inside on row number 3.
Yeah, just to her outside is going to be another fast car. A story all season long, been fast, is the number 12 of Corey Henry. He's going to start 6th. 7th is going to go to Jose Ramirez in that 75 car, while the 64 of Alex Hallinar is going to start 8th. Chris Passini in that 1 machine is going to start 9th. And rounding out the top 10 tonight in the 92 is Rod Mitten.
The rookie sensation, the number 71 of Christian Peterson is going to be starting 11th. Number 28 is Shane McKeechin in the Dollar General Camry is going to start 12th. 8 of Dana Osborne is going to start 13th. 11th, another rookie there is going to be Kelly Dahl starting 14th. And number 38 of Christian G. Don Tomaso is going to be starting 15th.
And alongside Carson, you'll find Tony Fenn in 16th. 17th is Tommy Hall. Ryan Keese 18th. It's the 19th on track this time for Matt Bontempi. Dan Harrington going to round out your top 20. Ramon Evans 21st. 22nd, Larry Camp. And Matt Quick slated to start in 23rd. It appears that all 23 drivers not only took a time, but it looks like they are all on the grid for this race. And we get set to do battle. We talk about how these race cars can handle a little bit differently, Jared, week in, week out. The weather's heading tonight, 71 degrees, 76 on track, overcast skies, and the relative humidity up there at 81%.
Yeah, it's going to make for a very interesting situation. I mean, it's going to be a lot cooler temperatures, which means these guys are going to be able to push a lot longer than they usually have in the past. But again, that temperature is going to not only affect the amount of time they're going to be able to push, but it's also going to have conditions affecting them on this new dynamic track. So we'll see how that comes into effect here as we go farther on into the race.
16 plus 1, the magic number if you want to be able to get in or you're going home. That will leave 7 drivers outside the bubble, vying for just 1 transfer spot based on a prerequisite to get into the A main. The pace car, though, dives down and away. It's time to go feature race racing yet again from Talladega. The number 42 going to hold the field at bay on the inside line all the way through the tri-oval as they approach the start-finish line. Green flag flies and underway we go. The B main, green from Talladega, and no surprise that everybody's still stacked up double file. Small checkup though on the outside lane of the racetrack. That'll kind of balance things out after the 43 Alessandine. Not the best start down low. Now everybody gets it sorted out in 1 and 2. Not surprising either that the inside gets the first advantage.
Yeah, the inside line getting a great advantage right now. The top 2 guys now have cleared Jorgensen on the outside. Stephanie Lessentine now on the inside. She's going to try to get around Jorgensen, get herself up into that 3rd spot. But to continue, Jorgensen's going to stay to her outside there right now with Rod Flagg just behind him. Not close enough, though, to get that push. The bottom line still the place to be here off of turn 4.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be staying there right there on the bottom side. That's going to be making sure that you can just ride in line and just hold your position. The people on the outside are the ones that are going to be trying to make a run here. As you see the 26 getting a good push on Jorgensen. Now, the number 1 of Chris C jumps up in front of Jorgensen. They're going to be getting a good push as they come out of 2 here, Evan.
And the outside falls back. They start to gain some momentum with the 1 car of Chris Bassini up on the top side. He's got a push from the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. Rod Flagg was 2nd. He now becomes the 3rd car in line down there. And we're going to be able to make it a side-by-side fight for 3rd. Lessentine on the bottom, going to be able to hold the spot for the moment. In front of that 43, it's still Hanner. It's still Seth the Merchant up in the front. The top 5 drivers started 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
We've got trouble. Number 64 is Alex Hallinar. And he is in the wall. The tri-oval caution flag is out, Evan.
He'll come to a stop, slowly rolls by, and it looks like Matt Bontempi will sneak through. The number 20 appears to be sporting some damage. Problems, though, on lap number 2. Could bring out the caution flag, and it was a relatively minor incident. Looked like maybe, Andy, just a lapse in concentration. The 64 coming down the side draft a little bit. He just tagged the 20. Both those cars hit the fence. The 20 got the worst of it.
Yeah, it looks like you said, lack of concentration or something. Both those cars, just kind of a little wiggle, it looked like, out of both of them. And the problem is when both of them wiggle at the same time, Evan, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to make a little contact. We've seen it time and time again. It doesn't take much of a contact or a push to get these cars sideways. They're so aero-sensitive to that going forward that as soon as you touch them and they get out of whack at any point, it's hard to save them, and we saw it right there. Fortunately for a lot of guys, it was just 2 of them as the replay comes up now.
Yeah, that could have been a whole lot worse. I mean, the 64, it looked like he just came up into the 20 of... it looks like the 20 now came up the track into the 64, Evan. As those guys, it looks they were just fighting for the same set of tarmac there.
Yeah, the 20 riding in line behind the 28, I'd find it difficult to fault Bontempi. Obviously you can look down, there's space between the yellow lines, so in theory he's not on the bottom, but I mean, a situation where I like to call it's a staggering on the field, because he's following that 28, the 64 is not on his door. If he hits him in the door, they probably get away with it, but it's because they're staggered, they're not clear, they're not right next to each other, a little bit of staggering going on, you get to each other in a bad spot. The 64 could have also been trying to get down in line, or again, he just drifted down a little bit, but I think the 20 just following in line, up off, because I think the 28 was trying something out, and again, they just kind of find themselves going for the same piece of real estate, and an early caution flag in the B main, which I can't say that I'm necessarily all that surprised about with the 23 car field. We slow things down, and because of the caution flag, those cars on the outside of the racetrack were getting something going, so it does shuffle things up a bit. But if you need more evidence that you want to start on the inside lane of the racetrack, take a look at your top 6. So again, if you're an odd number on the grid, that means you're on the inside. The driver in first started in first. Josh Hanner in second started third. Stephanie Lesentine in third started fifth. Josue Ramirez in fourth started 7th. Chris Bassini just behind started 9th. And Christian Peterson just behind started 11th. So the 6 cars on the first 6 rows, all from the inside, go to the top 6 just like that.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that, and it just shows it, like you said, that what happens with that top line, and you have to go all the way back to 7th to find your second place, who started second place, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. So it's tough to be out there, but you know that it's going to happen, and it might even be the pass for the win as somebody being on that outside. The problem is just finding that group of guys that are willing to stick it out lap after lap in order to keep that high side going. So any kind of gap, any type of separation between those drivers on that high side, you're not going to be able to get it done, and they're going to start falling towards the back. So a good lesson for a lot of these guys is maybe, especially being the B main and the transfer spot being P16, you might want to just fall in line on that bottom line and ride it out and see what you can do. For some of these other guys, though, like you said, when you're out on a racetrack, you're here to win. So you're still going to see a lot of guys fighting and battling tooth and nail on that high side, trying to get the win.
Yeah, but speaking of that outside lane and how it plays effect to where you're going to be going, look at the number 92 of Rod Mitten. He started 10th, and he's now on the bubble spot in 16th position. So he's going to have to make sure that this time, even though he's going to be starting on the outside again, he's got to make sure that he gets down to the inside quick so he can just be able to ride around and make sure he's able to make a run late race here.
And again, that caution coming on lap 2, that'll progress us now from a 25 or 24 lap affair rather to, 19, 18 laps left in this thing. And again, now you very quickly go caution takes a big chunk out of it. Caution takes a big chunk out of it. Now, the amount of eliminations, the cut line really does not never exclude many drivers. Again, 16, making it through 23, you got to think your chances are pretty good. But we always are hit with the dilemma that you're going to have guys up front, they're going to be racing. They don't want to just roll over and hand anything away. So what they're going to be doing is racing hard. But we see so many times in these B mains that they overdrive it. You get in an incident and you end up dropping from, instead of being satisfied with the top 6, you want to win, you drop outside of the qualifying spots. I'm still waiting, Andy, for one race where these guys inside the top 16 just all go single file. They don't bother each other. Will it happen? No, but in theory, it would probably be a smart idea.
It probably would be a smart idea, but you know what? It's not going to happen. It never will, and we know that. And racers are racers. They're gonna duke it out. They're gonna try to win this thing. Would it be smart to transfer into the main? Absolutely. But at the same time, why not try that outside? These guys right now racing in this race have an advantage of the guys that are already qualified for the A main. They're actually on the track with these conditions and figuring out what the cars can and can't do and how easily they can change lanes and how the pushes affect them, how long they can push a guy without getting the temperatures too hot. So these guys, I think, have an advantage, and if they do end up riding around on the quote-unquote bottom just to get through, it might not help them when it comes to the A main.
Yeah, but guys, what I'm waiting for is just one B main where you have most of the guys who are in the top maybe 15 in points there. They all wreck. Who it then is going to be making it to the A main? But we got one lap to go here before we go back to green. Evan, how do you think they're going to be looking throughout the rest of this race?
Well, again, the incident relatively minor, so nobody dropping off at a lead lap in this one. Alex Hallinar getting repaired on that car, and the 20 machine as well getting all fixed up. So it is going to be another 23-car grid for the following restarts at the Merchant and Josh Hanner. So now you have guys like the 24, 75, 71 who made up a lot of time, and because of that, they're now going to be on the outside. The outside got slaughtered on the drop of the first green flag. Can they stop the bleeding, or do they have any friends on the inside that would let them get in line? And let's see if they play nice at all nonetheless. Pace car going to cycle at a quarter number 4 and going to make the sharp left-hand turn to get down and out of the way to the safety of pit road. And again, it is going to be the Target Chevrolet of Seth the Merchant who will lead us to the green flag. Again, Seth looking for a trip to victory lane in order to get to the A main and attempt to qualify for the chase. Pace car's gone. Green flag flies back and away we go. Outside, though, with the upper hand, it'll be Hanner at the start finish line. 75 Josue Ramirez down to 1. Can he get clear? Not enough room. No, somehow he'll force his way down, take the race lead. Big checkup, though, on the inside because of it.
Oh, that was a huge checkup, and everyone able to keep it going straight right there. You just saw about every car in the field start swerving. A big, huge run right there for the 24 car, but he just slammed it right in there. So now we got to battle with 75 Jose Ramirez. He's on the outside now. He's trying to get this lead away from the 24 of Josh Hanner. He's doing a great job right now, but he's not doing it without any help.
Yeah, he's really going to need the help of the 71 here. Christian Peterson is going to have to get right there on the back of the 75 if they want to make any headway. In fact, they're actually going to need a lot more help there. It's number 8. Oh, we got big trouble in the back. Big trouble in the back. Matt Quick is in it. 83 of Ramon Evans is in it. Caution flag is out.
And Ramon Evans getting the worst of that one. The Cosmo Motors machine will slide to a stop and a pile of bent sheet metal. Caution flag flies. And this time, problems in the tri-oval, which was a theme that we saw a lot just 1 week ago, especially at Daytona. Talladega, not as much, because at Talladega, it's a forgiving apron. You're not going from 33 degrees to flat, so in the tri-oval, banking not as bad. But the 83, he just loses it. I call it a Denny Hamlin. Back end of the car just starts to go around, the front end chatters down. He's in the grass as you take a look at the replay, and then at that point, there's not a whole lot he can do. He comes back up. All he can hope is those guys get out of the way. Matt Quick, though, didn't have anywhere to go. He moves up a little bit, and then the 10 and the 89 all get sandwiched into the fence. Ramon Evans ends up on his lid, and that's your second caution of the race. Again, 2 laps following the drop of a green flag, this time off a restart.
Unbelievable, Evan. You rarely see that a car get loose in the tri-oval. Sometimes at Daytona, because Daytona tri-oval is a little bit sharper than Talladega, but man, that was just a tough break right there for the 83, and he lost it. There was nothing he could do. Of course, you try to, reactionary is trying to save it right there, and in doing so, the car ends up breaking to the right, and there's nothing any of those guys could have done to avoid that. So tough break for a bunch of these guys here early on. We're still early, under 10 laps still in this race. So like we said before, though, big chunks of this race now with this second caution just drifting away for some of these guys to get up into that transfer.
Yeah, I'm looking from Ramon Evanson's cockpit right now, and what happened was he just turned down the track, and I can't tell if he got the air taken off his spoiler, but that's actually what looked like happened there. But the biggest move there in that whole run was the 24 coming down right in front of Seth the Merchant there. I mean, that was a risky move. He could have taken out the whole field there, and he almost did. As you saw, a big check up there on the inside, and that was just a great move, as we call that, pulling a Haggerty here.
And with that, back under the caution flag, we'll step away for a brief moment and come back to Talladega for the restart. You're watching the B-Main action from feature race number 6 on the 2015 Season 3 campaign with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. More racing, trying to get into the main event in just a moment. Stay tuned.
you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better. Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
We're back here at Talladega Motor Speedway for this first B main here tonight, Jared, and cars are now getting stacked up to go back to racing here. Second caution, a big wreck was caused by the 83 getting loose there in the tri-oval. Just flat out lost it. Ended up coming back up the track, taking out a few cars with him in the act. Tough break for some of these guys, but 2 cautions already now. A lot of these green flag laps, and some of these guys need to get back up into that transfer positions. They're starting to tick away.
Yeah, and red flag race administration are getting on the guys right now, saying, "Come on, guys, we're a lot better than this. We know that these guys can run clean, and we know up here in the booth that they have the ability to run clean. They've gone one race already this season, caution free. So it's not a question of if they can run clean. It's just a matter of being a little bit less aggressive. I mean, remember, this is only the B main, and you're not quite yet to the A main. And I understand some of these guys want to get up there fast. If you're on that bubble spot, you want to get up there, but these guys just need to calm down, settle in, and let the race come to them.
And inside the top 10, which are guys that at the time being are pretty much comfortable as far as the transfer position. Yeah, most of these wrecks have actually happened. With that being said, though, we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Josh Hanner again is going to lead the field to the green flag now as the pace car hits pit road. A long way to get to that restart zone here at Talladega, seeing that the start-finish line is at the end of pit road. Green flag now back in the air, 2x2, everybody's moving. A little bit of a checkup around the 88 machine on that high side, but still side by side as they head back into turn number 1.
Yeah, Stephanie Lessentine got a great jump. Now she's right on the back bumper of the 42 there. She's going to be trying to push her to the lead. As we got 3 wide in the back, Jorgensen's falling back. He's going back quick. Evan, he did not get any help there on the outside.
And the outside not friendly as he goes the wrong direction. It'll be much worse than an 8th the next time for him across the start-finish line. He continues to drop, so does the remaining occupants of the outside line down in 3 and 4. The 42 at Merchant was just running second in this race. He begins to slide. The 43 of Stephanie Lessentine as well in the back bumper. She falls back also. Their concern, find a spot in line. Jumping out of line, Christian Peterson, he tucks back down. Seth the Merchant going to find a spot. The 43 might have had one. She's not going to go for it. And then that 4 of Tommy Hall in the Busch Chevrolet to the inside. He gets the spot, and that is a big freight train and absolutely no help outside for the number 43 till you fall back at least 7 more car lengths. First other guy I see out there is Carson DeJohn Tommaso.
Yeah, and that's just a very lonely feeling for a driver when you're stuck on the outside like that. It's, someone's losing a bad connection there, but that's just a horrible feeling right there for the 43. You're all by yourself there. It looks like she's going to have a gap here to fall back in line right behind Dan Harrington. She does. Here comes a snarling pack, though, as they're coming up on her awfully quick now with the draft, but she was able to get in line here as they go through turns number 3 and 4. Here comes a 42, though. He's stuck down to the outside. He's going to drop down. What a bold move right there. Right in front of the number 4. The 4 has to push up the track. That's Tommy Hall. Now he's going to fall backwards.
Yeah, but you saw what happened there to the 42. What happened to him is what's been happening to a lot of these drivers. With this new dynamic track build, actually starting to slide up the track, and then they're having to cut it down hard at the last minute. Now that sounds easy enough, but these cars with that new dynamic track and with the tire model, they're going to be getting extremely loose. They do that. As Massini's getting a run here, he's going to be going for the lead. They got 4 cars on the outside. Chris Massini to the lead into 1.
On the top side of the racetrack, does he come down? He wants to bring his partner with him. Corey Henry Now going to be able to get clear, drops down to the inside, and that is a well-executed move by teammates to stick up on the outside. The one waited, and they did so in the middle of the corner, which really is not normally a place where the outside can do that. We'll see two cars get clear, but normally it's only at the extreme end of a straightaway. They really got things hooked up and coordinated well, and with that, it's Bassini to the top spot. Corey Henry jumps up to second, and it'll put the 24 now back in third as they single file out yet again. This time, odd man out. Shane McEachin a little bit further back there in the pack. No help. He's stuck up on the top side. 71-42, though, thinking about making something work. Those, again, affiliated Wicked Autosport machines. They look to the high side. Not quite yet. But again, we'll get single file. But the outside, they can get momentum very quickly. They just need some support when they do so.
Trouble down the backstretch. Shane McEachin. McEachin did Harrington. Tommy Hall. Caution flag is out.
Harrington spins back up the hill. He'll keep it off the fence. No, he'll hit it yet again, screeching to a stop for the third time tonight. Caution flag will fly, and that was right around that 28 that I was following, guys. Shane McEachin on the outside. He was falling back, and we did have a couple of, I guess you can say, incidents up in front of the field. A couple of guys with some connection problems. The 82, though, I think it's just a simple case of these cars can really get tight coming off the corner. Gave it too much wheel, and then he just got turned by the 43 from behind. Not non-intentional on any of those drivers' parts, just a part of getting hooked up on a straightaway, and these bumpers don't align, so if you're staggered to a quarter panel at all, that's the exact result that you get.
Looked like he almost got loose right there, and coming off the corner, had to gather the car a little bit going down, but the problem is everybody behind with the draft just keeps on coming, and when he tried to get back up in the line, just a slight little bit of contact with the 43 car off her front nose, and that sent him up into the wall, and major damage for the 82.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. Remember what I said earlier? If they are going to be coming off, they're going to be getting really tight off of the corner, and once again, if you turn that car hard left, it's going to upset the balance of that car as it comes up off the banking, and it's going to make for a very difficult car to control. And you saw the outcome right there as Shane just couldn't gather the car up in time and just got into Stephanie, and from there it was just on.
And that again brings us to a pause just past the halfway point. That last restart, although one lap away, we could mark it up as a halfway point for the restart on that one. Now we're in a situation where this could be your final restart. Again, as always, no green-white checkers in the iRacing service, but if you get a caution inside of the final 4 laps, that means you'll end under yellow. Outside of that, if we go back green, get a very quick caution, there is still the possibility of getting this race completed under the green flag. And for the most part, the B-mains do get green flag finishes, but you have to imagine if you're a guy like a Larry Camp, an Alex Hallen, or Tommy Hall, 15th, 16th, or 17th, you're right camped out around that cutoff. You know that it might get ugly. Couple guys a lap down, they're probably going to get a wave by if they get back out on track, Andy, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody just not even go with the field. A guy back there that, although they might be behind the cut line, stay back and out so that if there's a wreck, and they'll probably be banking on hoping that they do see one, if there's a wreck, you're not in it, you kind of coast through and get through. But again, there's many different approaches that you can take. A lot of guys, especially if you're just in front of that cut line, probably they're just going to be pedal to the metal and hoping that they don't find themselves in the wrong spot at the wrong time. This is when the unfortunate reality of plate racing becomes very much true and comes to the forefront, and that is you can do what you want, but very much so of your future is out of your control in races like this. It's all about placement. You can place yourself at a spot that you like to be in. I always like to be on the bottom. May not work out statistically speaking, but I know it might be more comfortable for me to be able to turn off to the apron of the grass. Some guys like up on the top side. You can pick and choose where you want to go. You have absolute control over that. You just can't control what those cars go spinning once they do so.
No, absolutely, and you can't. You have no control either where you're going to start on this too. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these people, on all these cars that are actually going to start on that inside lane. We'll have to see how the outside lane, what they can do in a matter of a couple laps once we get back going green. If they can even get that outside lane to work for some of these guys to get them into that transfer spot and hopefully even avoid a wreck or not get into one and finish this thing under green. So it's going to be an interesting. This restart here is going to basically could be the defining moment for a lot of these guys if they're going to continue to race here tonight.
Well, Corey Henry is definitely going to have to get the push of the season there from Jose Ramirez. Ramirez, we haven't really talked about him much this season. He was originally in the iSuperspeedway Cup way back in the day when this league first started. And Ramirez, he's been in and out lately, but it's really good to see him back here. And right now, he's looking to make his name here in the iSuperspeedway Cup Series. So I'm really interested to see what can happen. But right now, he's going to have the likes of Corey Henry, Josh Hanner, even Red Flag, and don't forget the number 42 of Seth the Merchant sitting right back there as well.
Lights of the pace car still on. Wave by is getting sent around. We know Dan Harrington going to get back to the lead lap. Shane McEachin is 2 laps down. He has officially retired from the race. Matt Bontepi 2 laps down. He is done. Ramon Evans is 4 laps down. Not officially out of the race, however, that car on pit road heavily damaged. I don't think we'll be seeing that Toyota back on track. So that'll give us 20 drivers, 16 spots plus 1. And I know it's something that Jared mentioned a little bit earlier, the fact that we don't typically see a whole lot as far as that final transfer spot going in via a provisional. We don't normally see a lot of big names back there and it being really, really close. In this stage in the season, it's very easy to overlook if you have a big name back there, but you got a whole lot of guys up front. But I mean, Jorgensen is out at the moment. That's probably the biggest name, and he'd probably very easily get the provisional over guys like Dan Harrington, Camp, and Alex Hallander. But if Jorgensen gets through there, you got a whole lot of guys that are very, very close to each other in the points.
Yeah, and it's a huge difference, and you don't even want to you don't want it to come down to that as a driver. You just want to get up to that 16th spot and hopefully get into that spot without having to hope for a tiebreaker or hope for the provisional. You just want to get it done and get it done right. But we're still going to have 20 cars here on the lead lap, so a few guys and a few feelings might get hurt before this one's over.
Yeah, but right now the 28 of Shane McEachin has got to be being that the number 88 of Mark Jorgensen gets up at least to that top 16. Because right now, Shane, despite the fact of being out, he would be the provisional if Jorgensen can get up to 16th. There's an interesting rule here that if you finish 50% of the race, despite not being able to finish the race, but if you finish that 50%, you will still be eligible to receive the provisional. And again, Shane McEachin, it's going to take a lot for Mark Jorgensen to get up there, but fortunately for him, he's going to be starting on the inside. It is very well feasible as they're coming around here down the backstretch, and Chris Bassini's going to be leading us off here right beside Corey Henry.
They're doubling up. They get back going at it. Again, you see a lot of pink in the field, pink cars, pink numbers for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And the number 1 machine sporting a pink and black Chevrolet, it is Chris Bassini. He wants to get a win, and if he can do it in the B main, it'll give him some confidence to get the job done in the big show. In just a couple of minutes, restart coming up. Lap 20 goes into the books. We'll get 4 laps to go. This time by a caution would end this race. Who can hang on at the end? Green flag drops back and away we go. Small checkup up top. Bassini will lead us down to 1. Does that open up a hole for Corey Henry to get down in line to the bottom? He's thinking about it. 24 will shut the door.
24 is going to shut the door for now, but the top 10 guys right now are, and 1 female. It says Stephanie Westy made it up there in that top 10, but that top 10 all has actually pulled away right now from the 8 car of Dana Osborne, so a little bit of separation right now, and it looks like both lines from top side being one guy short. As we got 1 car, it looks like having some connection issues. Everyone's able to keep it straight right now. The problem is you can't even see them, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that right now. But the top line's starting to get dispersed right now. Only 2 cars left on the top. That's Corey Henry, and of course the 75 of Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez, big connection issues. The iRacing equivalent to an engine failure, unfortunately. He's going to find himself going backwards as the number, it looks like number 64 of Alex Hallinar. Correction, that was the number 11 of Kelly Dahl, a rookie. He has worked it. Oh, we got trouble down the backstretch. It's, oh, I can't tell who that is, Evan.
Couple of guys beating and banging. Jorgensen is into the inside wall in the 88 machine. Ryan Keese is around as well. That almost guarantees the 88 the provisional spot as he's into that accident. It's off of the racing surface. No caution. We stay green this time through across the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. And just about 5.4 miles from a checkered flag, Piscini's got it. They're single file. We return to the 206-mile-an-hour game of chicken. The lead group is 10 cars strong. Who makes a move first? And if they do it, do they get some support?
I don't know if they're going to get any support, but you got to time this just right as they're going to the outside right now. That is the number 71 of Christian Pearson. I can't tell who that is. It looks like it's the number 38. The 38 of Carson Giton Tommaso. Where in the world did he come from? And it's now the 42 who's going to join the outside line. Here they come through the tri-oval. It's going to be white flag this time by, Evan.
They're going to take the white flag. Seth the Merchant, he wants to lead the train on the outside of the racetrack. He's put himself in a very good spot. White flag flies. 1 lap to go at Talladega to hand out a checkered flag in the B-main. 42 over the outside of the racetrack. Again, you can't get hooked up in a corner. You see the 38. The key, you want to time that as soon as they come off the banking. Not really timed well, but it's a big run. You don't need to get clear. All you need is a nose in front at the start-finish line. The one, the 24, 26, 43 on the bottom. Up top, it's the Merchant, the 38, the 71, but with just 2 cars up on the outside lane, that's going to stall Seth out. Race to the checkered flag. 38 dives into the bottom. 24 thinks about going high. He'll stay in line. Checkered flag, the win. Chris Piscini going to get the job done. Yes, he does. He holds on as Josh Hanner shoots to the outside. Rod Flag just about racked the field after he got shot at a line, and now they rack across the start-finish line. The 12 and the 71, guys. That's the second time in about as many weeks we've seen a finish like that, Andy, though. 2 cars go to the outside, and Haggerty said it's all about the timing. They got there, but they ran out of cars. They made the move too soon.
Yeah, they just ran out of time. It's all, like you said, all about timing. The timing was off right there, and the top line was unable to prevail. But the 1 car, Chris Piscini, comes home with a big win. Congratulations to him. That was a great job by him. We didn't talk much about him that first whole half of that race, but he put himself into position to get this win, and he did a great job.
And with that, he's going to celebrate on the front straightaway, and we've caught up on the radio with your race winner, Chris Piscini. It's Evan Pasoko in a broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got loud and clear.
You start 9th, you finish 1st, you hold the bottom lane, and there was a challenge from Seth the Merchant on the high side. That's a very unnerving feeling, I would imagine. The 42, he's done this once or twice. He stalls out, you got the bottom, you hold on, and just like everybody else, you're on even playing field going into the A-main. You guys are going to have to requalify for that, but you do get a win in the B-main. Congratulations to that. What was that race like for you?
Well, it was a pretty crazy start with checking up and trying to stay off of people and trying to just play it safe. And then after the few cautions came out, we got a nice little run there, and I had Corey come up behind me, and then he came up behind me coming out of turn 4, and we decided right there, just now or nothing, just take it. And then we ended up going 1-2, and then the caution came out and split us up again. But we figured we're not going to help each other and just race it out and have fun. And I got to thank the 24 for helping me there. He private messaged me and let me know he was going to stick with me the whole way. So I appreciate it.
And the good news is the teamwork comes through. You guys are all able to advance in that partnership. You go to the A-main. A-main, obviously, a whole new ball game, 47 laps. But you got the win here, and you kind of know, make allies with guys just not specifically on your team as well, but along with your teammates, just other guys on different teams that you're working with. Knowing what it takes to get one of these done, 23 cars, not that far off of what we'll see in the A-main. What's your confidence level, and what kind of attack are you going to take into the big show?
Well, based on my track record I've had the past 3 or 4 weeks going on now of being taken out and just not being able to avoid any wrecks, Not confident, but this is a little booster right now, so hopefully it'll get a little better once we get a couple laps into the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm digging the pink paint scheme. Before we let you go, because I know you guys got to get gridded back up, hop in a new server. Sponsors, shout outs. Who do you want to thank? Well, we got you here.
Well, first off, I got to thank my wife for Friday nights for letting me enjoy doing this while she's upstairs working from home. Got to thank Rodney, Greg, Corey, Derek, everybody from Big City. Thank Rod for putting this on. You guys up in the booth, Laura, just the hell of a time. Can't ask for anything better on a Friday night.
Well, Chris, thanks for sticking around and chat with us. We wish you the best of luck. We'll see you in the A main. Go get them.
You got it.
So that is your B-Made race winner, all the way through 16th in Matt Quick. Transfer into the A-Main, Mark Jorgensen Jr. Big problems there late, and it looks like that may toss the provisional in his direction, although we will wait officially on the call on that one. But the other name we were looking at was Shane McEachin. Shane McEachin may indeed be higher than Jorgensen in the points. We'll have to get an official number on that, but that's close. That could mean a big name not in the A main. We'll have that number for you in a moment, though. Until then, we'll step away and we'll regrid the grid, and we'll see you for the A main in just a couple of moments from Talladega. Stay tuned. Feature Race 6 is on its way. You're watching the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV. Back live at the Talladega Super Speedway as we get set to roll for the A-Main in Feature Race 6 on a Season 5 campaign with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. We get set to do battle and possibly punch somebody else's ticket into the iSuper Chase in hopes of a championship. We welcome you back into the LSRTV booth. Evan Pasoko, Jared Haggerty, Andy Kessler along for the ride with you guys. B-Main, I told you it would provide some excitement. It did there at the end. Maybe not as far as crossing the start-finish line, but a big thing is no Mark Jorgensen Jr. tonight in the A-Main. He dropped back via that incident, and he apologized to Ryan Keese for causing the incident that will keep both of them out of the A-Main. Shane McEachin gets the pass. He joins these guys. The 88's got to watch from the sidelines.
Yeah, it's a tough break for one of the series' most fast drivers here at the super speedway. So to not see that 88, that's almost unheard of. But listen, in this type of format, in this type of racing, when you have these mains and you have to qualify in, one simple mistake like we saw in the B main, and that's going to cost you the chance to run in the A main. So unfortunate to see here tonight, the 88 not on the track, but I'm sure it's going to light a fire, and we'll see him stronger than ever next week.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to see if any of these other drivers can, I'm not going to say replace the 88, but provide a little bit more excitement, just like Mark Jorgensen does. I mean, we got some guys that could come from the back here. We saw the number 64 of Alex Handlar. He got wrecked out in the B main, and now he's right now running 14th on the grid. So we'll see where he's going to be ending up here as they finish qualifying, Evan.
Qualifying again set before they hit the grid in every single race, so the finishing order in the B main not relative to where they will be for the start of the A main. So much like we saw before, just one lap, a single car qualifying pass will rack the grid for tonight's A main event. You'll see a lot of drivers out there. The I-5 bonus in effect tonight, however, a lot lower than what we've been used to seeing. Just $5 up for grabs tonight if either Donnie Giratano, Glenn Hedrick, John or Jason Altmans can go on to pick that up. Brandon Jericho picked up $5 1 week ago. The week prior to that, it was $50. So the I-5 bonus back in effect tonight. Again, those drivers identified by those bright orange numbers. The championship picture is always exciting, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. But first, we got to get tonight officially underway. We'll throw things down now trackside for the opening ceremonies, and Jaden Berkey for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And we are now set to get tonight underway. It's the 6th race on the Season 5 campaign, albeit you look at the chase grid and you'll notice 6 names, 7 different races. 2 of those coming in via the duels earlier on in the year. It's the 6th race of the regular season, and we're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. Let's take a look, guys, at where they'll line up for this 47-lap affair, start to finish, to hand out another Ice Super Speedway trophy. How about Rodney Wofford, the driver of the number 7, has the most wins out of anybody else in this season so far with 2, sits atop the championship grid. We'll start from pole position with a 49.849. Rather significantly quicker than Christian Peterson, who in and of his own self, great qualifying effort. We'll start from second. Josh Ball looking to pick up a bonus, looking to pick up a win and get into the iSuper chase. We'll start from third. Alongside him, another little bit of a surprise, great run for the Oakley entry of Chad Keenan fourth, and then Rod Flagg can round out our top 5.
Starting 6th tonight, a great starting spot for the 43 of Stephanie Lessentine. Donnie Giratano is going to roll off 7th. 8th will be the 12 car of Corey Henry. Chris Passini, the B main feature winner here tonight, is going to roll off 9th. And 10th will be the 87 of Ray Wittenauer.
Number 42, the Wild Thing, as we like to call him, is going to be Seth the Merchant starting in 11th. Number 98, Rockstar Energy Chevy of Greg Hooks is going to be starting in 12th. Number 24, Josh Hanner is going to be starting 13th. 78 of Tony Finn is going to be starting. Oh, excuse me. Josh Hanner's going to be rolling out 13th. Tony Finn's going to be 14th. And Jose Ramirez is going to be 15th.
And outside of Ramirez, it's the checkers, number 64 of Alex Halliner. He's in the A-main tonight, 17th position. A long way to the front for Glenn Hendrick. That driver not currently on the grid, although slated to start 17th. It may be a start from pit road. Alongside him, Matt Quick in the number 18 spot. Rod Minton in 19th. He'll bump up a row. And then in 20th position, you got Kelly Dahl.
The 088 of Kent Connolly is going to roll off 21st. Dan Harrington, 22nd. The 8 of Dana Osborne will be roll off 23rd. 24th goes to the 25 of Daniel Ferguson. 25th starting spot will be the 28 of Shane McEachin.
Start of this race. It's 120. Flag flies seat at town. All folks.
Two.
The trouble that brings out the first caution flag here at Talladega in feature race number 6. All in and around the 2 of Donnie Giratano getting it kicked off. 24 ends up a sandwich, and both he and Seth the Merchant hard into the fence. The 24, the one that takes quite the ride up and over. And again, that puts us under the first caution flag, gentlemen, much like we saw in the B main, coming first on lap number 2, very early. In this A-main, do we slow down the pace? It says Rodney Wofford in your race lead. Not as drastic as the numerical change. I can't tell you that the top 6 are all from the inside row. The outside, they all stayed up there for the most part. And again, it was only about a lap and a quarter, but they didn't begin to fall as much as they did the last time. Again, the outside works. You just need numbers. Nobody wants to take that risk. I feel like in a 47-lap race, you'd probably rather duck down to the inside and be safe. Kind of funny how that works out, and you go down to the bottom to play it safe because you don't want to get stuck up high and then be left hanging, but by driving down to the inside, you leave the other guys left hanging. So again, it's a game of chicken, but I'm surprised that the outside stuck up there. For the most part, if you start on the outside, you went backwards, but it wasn't as bad as what we saw earlier tonight.
No, it wasn't. That was because they were able to stick to each other's bumpers. They were able to stay in numbers. That's exactly what they got to do. The problem is up on that high side, these cars tend to get a little bit loose, and whether that's a product of some of the side draft, the higher elevation in the banking, it could be a whole bunch of things, but it seems that through the corners, the separation between the cars always grows a little bit on that top side compared to the bottom side. It just seems like on the bottom, everyone's able to, at least for most of the time, to stick to each other's bumpers, which gives them that advantage coming off the corner, which makes that top line just have to work so much harder.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to make that top line work somehow. And you just saw them working it right there. I mean, in the B main, we didn't see it hardly working at all. But it just goes to show you, if you get enough cars on that outside line, you're going to be able to make some headway on the outside there. And the number 48 of Josh Ball is going to have to do all he can to try to take this lead away from Rodney Wofford, because he's not going to be able to be. It's not going to be easy to pass Rodney. I mean, he's won 2 races already this season, and he's guaranteed into the championship. So to take away a win from Rodney Wofford is going to be a tough challenge here, Evan.
Not only that, but as well, he is very good if you had to choose 2 racetracks, prominently at Daytona, but much success recently at Talladega as well with very strong runs. He's up at the front of the field right now. I'm sure he'd like to keep it up there for the entirety of the race. You see the wave bys going by, so it looks like it'll be Seth the Merchant, Carson D. John Tommaso. They will rejoin us on the lead lap. right down 2 laps down, so I think all 3 of those drivers, Josh Hanner included, had to take the virtual tow down to the pit lane. And obviously that's going to cost them some significant time. Let's take a look at what the chase grid looks like at the moment through races number 5 of 12 on the regular season with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. As you just mentioned, Jared, Rodney Watford, the only person locked in officially, second in the points, but he sits atop the chase grid with 2 wins on the year. You then have 5 drivers with 1 win. They represent 1st, 3rd, 4th, 16th, and 28th in the points. Shaburko, McEachin, Busilia, Altmans, and Peterson through 6th on the chase grid. So 6 out of the 10 spots already taken up by drivers with wins. Christian Peterson in an interesting situation because he's running strong now, but if he's 28th in points, that could be bad news for him. Brandon Chaburko's 1st in points. He's not going to be on track for a month. He's serving an official iRacing suspension, so both him and Peterson could open up spots. That would be good news for Josh Hanner, Rod Flagg, Matt Quick, and Rod Mitten, the drivers that are in on points. But the guys that are out on points right now, it's close. Ryan Keese, 3 points. Glenn Hendrick, 7. Jorgensen, 12. Tonight, really going to hurt him.
Yeah, Jorgensen, that is going to be almost a death blow for him. So he's going to have to take a win at some point in this season to even have a chance to get back up there now, because that points race is so close for that last position. If nobody else from the top 6, if anybody else from the top 6 gets a win, he's going to have to work his way back up into at least the top 9 or 9th or 10th in points. I don't know. Jorgensen, it's gonna be rough for him, but even rougher it's gonna be for Brandon Chaburko. He's sitting 1st in points right now, and he's gonna be gone for almost 4 weeks, so he might not be within the top 30 by the time he gets back here, Evan.
You got to be the close thing, and he'll hope that he's able to do so. The good news is he'll come back. He'll still have races to make up points. A 2nd win, again, would help, but again, it doesn't matter how many wins you have. Top 30 in points, Andy, much like in a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, you have to maintain that if you want those wins to count.
Yeah, I know. 1 month suspension, missing 4 races, lots of points just being left on the table for that 3 car, especially after we see him sweep Friday night last week. So tough break for him, but he's going to have his work cut out for him when he gets back.
The race winner for the B-Main would like to do the same thing tonight. However, he's a little bit deeper in the pack than he would like at the moment. Chris Massini continuing to try to move forward in this race so far. Up 1 spot, still a long way to go. Watford in control, though. Green flag drops, and we get this race back and away. Lap 6 in the books. We start lap number 7. Josh Ball had a nose at the start-finish line. Not going to be another scenario where he's clear, though, to the bottom. The inside is even. Now pulls right on.
Trouble!
Less than 10 to get turned in the middle of 1 and 2. And big jump in the middle of the corner. Caution flag evidently will fly, and a ping pong ball is Stephanie Lessentine.
Unbelievable carnage right there, right at the front of the pack. Cars weren't even up to speed yet, Evan, as they were coming off of turn number 2, and the one car of Bassini ended up getting into the back of Stephanie Lessentine, and all that was right there was just a product of a checkup there, maybe a little bit of loose conditions for the 43 on that top side, but that was definitely a big one here at Dega.
Now, what happened was she actually had to go up out of the groove to avoid running right into the back of Rod Flagg. So either way, she would have gotten crunched. And Passini, in my opinion, he should have just backed off there and let the 43 not necessarily push the issue there going into that corner. And that's one of the rules here in the series, is no bumping in the corners. And I expect for Chris Passini to possibly get a penalty for that.
Well, I'd still consider that corner entry, and I see the 26er flag move up a little bit. So, Rod trying to check up because, again, he can't push the 48. He's got to check up, maybe moves up the hill a little bit. 43 does the same. Next thing you know, almost out of line. There's really not a whole lot of time if you're Chris Passini to react on that. You probably wouldn't see these guys be this close if it was right off of a, like 3 laps off of the green flag run when they're all up to speed. But because they're coming right off of the restart, Stephanie gets into the back of Rod Flagg. That checks her up. the one machine, I mean, all he sees is a car braking in front of him. She did spin across the racetrack, though, took out a bunch of cars. A lot of guys get through it, quote unquote, but they pick up a significant amount of damage. All of those cars will come down to the pit lane. Your race leaders stay out.
Yeah, race leader's going to choose the track position currently. Obviously, not worried about a tire wear. Not typically that big of an issue here at Talladega. So choosing the track position to stay out of the hornet's nest, if you will, of the middle of the pack. So top two guys definitely deciding to, or top few guys staying out to avoid losing their track position. A bunch of guys, though, on pit road right now, getting some damage repaired, hopefully to be able to carry enough speed to keep themselves in contention for this one tonight.
The Wofford leads. You got two guys one lap down to Merchant. Dijon Tommaso not involved additionally in that incident was the number 42. I believe Carson was, though. That's going to take away the quick fix already that he already had used. That may be it for the driver of the 38 as he slowly comes down to the pit lane. He can still get the car fixed, but it's only going to get fixed to the extent of the old school manual repairs where iRacing is going to give you a time. You got to sit around and wait, and that car's going to get fixed. So tough break for Karsten. I know in the A-Mains we've seen a couple of good qualifying efforts out of him. We've seen him up front, but has not been able to put an entire race together yet and get a win quite yet to this point. So the discussion continues under the caution flag, the number 43 versus the 92 on the radio. I'm not surprised, though, that all of the drivers see that incident a little bit differently.
Yeah, these drivers, I mean, they can't see what we can see from up here in the booth, and again, they just have to judge by what they see on the track. I mean, yeah, people are going to get hot, and in the end, emotions can take the best of people and just turn them into seeing red and not making necessarily the best judgment calls. So we'll see how that plays here further in the race. What do you think these guys getting heated up for here, Andy?
I think right now it's just a lot of frustration. We're early into this event. When you come to tracks like this, you got to say that everybody that starts the race has an opportunity to win this thing. Doesn't matter where you start. So I think it's just a lot of frustration of just wanting to, let this thing shake out. There's, not a ton of laps, but there's plenty of time. Lots of racing to do, but nobody likes to run around here chasing a pace car. So I think it's just a lot of frustration. Not so much, I don't think, at any particular drivers per se, but it's all it is. It's just frustration. They all know they're better. That they're better than what they're showing currently with these two cautions early. So I think it's just a lot of driver frustration right now, and sometimes it gets the better of them, and you end up saying things that you regret, or you think the next day you don't know why, and these guys will forget about it. So it's just a matter of driver frustration. It's early in the race. There's lots of time. You got damage now, and quite possibly won't be in contention to win this thing. So to have your chances taken away that early, I think that's what's the cause of it.
And one thing that we see in these feature race events, again with the B main and the A main, is that the heat style races, I like to call it short track racing, or big track racing, short track style for that matter. Something that comes along with that is bent sheet metal and bent feelings. There is a lot on the line. We continuously talk about the championship. To get to the championship, you get to fight for a championship, but every single week you have the I-5 bonus on the line. The winner gets that ticket to the championship on the chase grid. The winner gets a trophy. It's high-stakes stuff. You got guys out here that, they spend a lot of time, and, a couple of disagreements under the caution flag there. I can guarantee a couple of choice words coming from the direction of the 12 of Corey Henry, directed at the driver of the 43, Stephanie Lessentine, being the only female driver in the field. So things are getting exciting, nonetheless, and race control reminded them to just keep a check on the emotions here. And it's only lap 11, Andy. Lights on for the pace car. These guys still got a whole lot of close quarters racing to do with one another.
Yeah, they just got to remind them, settle down, boys, settle down. Plenty of time. Let's relax. Let's, mind your P's and Q's, and let's get it done.
So with that, we stack them back up. We go forward. It's going to be lap number 12 when we do get this restart. That'll leave us with 36 laps to go still in this event. So again, still a long way, still a little bit past the original distance of what the B main was. The B main, again, had its fair share of cautions. The cautions almost dictated when that B main ended and the pace that it ran at, because a lot of it happened under the caution flag. This A main kind of starting off in a very, very similar instance where both incidents almost coming one lap off of a restart and almost on the same lap of each other, but a lot more laps, a lot more cars as well to equate for that are actually still out there on track. So we'll have to see what kind of a factor this does play and what the atmosphere of the race is going to be. One guy that doesn't have to scrap at a moment is Rodney Wofford. He'll be on the inside of the front row as the control car for the restart. His objective, do not let Josh Ball get clear. Those two make up the front row as the pace car gets down, going to make the sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane. The 7 waits. It's a lot longer here at Dega in comparison to what we saw 1 week ago at Daytona. Green flag drops, back and away we go. Outside, good start. It'll be Ball with the nose at the start-finish line that time through. I don't think it'll be enough for him, though, to get down in front of the 7. Wofford not going to let that happen. He'll retain the lead on the bottom, and he'll bring it back nose to nose.
Yeah, and if Josh Ball has a chance to get the lead, it's probably with that 26 that's giving him the push right now. Rod Flagg, a big head of steam, able to stay close with him through the corner right now. That's going to give Ball the edge as they go back down the super stretch here at Talladega. Here's the problem, though. The 7 car Wofford not going to, oh boy, what, he just slings it right in there. Josh Ball says, thank you very much, I'll take the lead right here, and leaves Rod Flagg to the outside off of turn 4.
And that keeps everybody up on their toes. The 26 now leads the outside charge, just the 75 of Josue Ramirez behind him at the moment. The outside going to get some support. Race for the Raylo. 7 to the outside of the racetrack. Josh Ball going to get left hanging high and drive down on the bottom. 7 going to get clear. He's not planning on coming down, though. He wants to get his Wicked Autosport teammate through as well. Both him and Peterson got it. Dropped down in line, and Rodney Wofford back to the top spot.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you thought you would have seen right there with the 48 and the 26 when they were on the outside. It didn't happen. Josh Ball said, I'll take the lead right now, and left the flag out to the outside by himself. Now, you just saw a huge power move by teammates right there with Wofford and the 71 of Peterson. Now Peterson kind of looking out to get a little bit of fresh air to the front grille right now as Chad Keene tries to keep that outside line going. Rod Flagg right behind him, but the bottom lane starting to get some momentum, but here comes the 71 now. He pops out to the outside. That's going to move the 48 back into second place here off of turn number 2.
And the chess match continues. You look on board and take a look at the fight as they go right now. Up on the top side, the 71 still leading the outside charge after getting spit back out there. Behind him, the 96 machine and Chad Keene. They've been working pretty well together so far to that point, but the inside can pick up the advantage by 2 car lengths this time down through the corner. Everybody's starting to slowly spread out. Top 15 cars still within a second, much of which is still side-by-side action because not everybody gave up on the top side. That's why they're still there, and they'll have surges. You can have a lot of cars out there. It can feel like you're not moving. You can get 4 cars out there. You'll think you're hustling. You're not always going to be faster than the bottom. You'll have quick sprints. You'll have short parts. You just need to build up some momentum. That's what the 71 to 96 try to do. They time it off a quarter to number 2. They want to put up a fight for the race lead.
They will, and it's side-by-side now. Wofford trying to get some help from Ball on the inside. Peterson, though, is going to get right up alongside there. A little bit of separation. Keene has to back off of the bumper of Peterson. That's going to give the edge back to the bottom side now. Top 2 as they move to the high side. Josh Ball, he wants the lead back. He goes to the high side right in front of Peterson. That's going to leave the bottom side open to the 64 Hallender. We haven't talked much about him. Now he's going to try to push him. But look at Peterson with a huge push to Josh Ball, pushes him out to the lead, gets himself out there, then decides to stay on the high side. He wants the lead now off of turn 2.
He became separated from his teammate in the 7. I'm surprised, though, Peterson didn't get down, get back with Rodney Wofford. They regroup and try to go back at it. He doesn't stay to the outside of the racetrack, so he goes up to the top side in front of the 96 Chad Keene. Keene followed by Rod Flag. Flag just kind of creeping his way forward every time somebody jumps out of line on top. He moves up one spot. It's working good for him right now as he continues to charge up. You mentioned Alex Halliner started 16th, top 5 car right now. He's in a pretty interesting spot. 3rd car in line, not really a part of the main battle. If something's going to happen with cars on the bottom, it's going to be those 2 up front as the 71 gets the job done and continues to not be able to get back to his teammate. The 48 splitting up those Wicked Autosports machine as Henrik trying to represent up in front of the field. For that 64, and now the 7 included, if you're not one of those top 2 cars, if the outside is still there, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck on the bottom. Rod Flag going to come down. Now the outside might die. Good news for the guys down low.
Yeah, it's good news right now that there's no help on the outside for Chad Keene. Keene all by himself. He's going to fall back to Jose Ramirez. But as they come down the front straightaway, they get a little damaged lap car there on the high side. Make their way around him. Top 5 now. Almost 6 is the 21 of Glenn Hedrick. He's going to get him clear. Keene able to drop in line right there. That's right in front of the 088 of Conley. But as Hedrick, he almost gets loose there off of turn number 2. The top 7 now, 8 cars, all single file down the super stretch.
And what you see there is actually the number 21 of Glenn Hedrick. He's starting to peek his nose out every little chance that he gets. So I'm thinking that he really wants to make a run here coming up, as he actually started the race from the back of the field. He started on pit road and was 2 laps down. He's worked his way back up through the field, and now is sitting there in about the 6th position. And I tell you what, Glenn Hedrick, another one of those old school guys who was around here from the start of the league, he's going to be wanting to get a win here more than anybody.
And we can see that we haven't seen our race leaders do a whole lot on pit road. So although tire wear is not a very drastic thing at a restrictor plate racetrack, these cars are starting to move a lot more when they're in line. The 21 of Glenn Hedrick says he's only doing half throttle as they were all stacked up on each other in that big single file freight train on the inside of the racetrack. They start to spread out the advantage, give it to immediately the top 7 cars on track. Peterson, Ball, Wofford, Flag, Halliner, Hedrick, and Keene trying to break away. Connolly and Quick trying to change the picture. They'll bring Harrington and Ramirez back into the fight as well. And Stephanie Lessentine involved in that last incident. Quick fix done already, almost back in the top 10.
Yeah, she's doing a great job on the recovery right now. Just now at this point, once you use that quick go, you just really want to survive, make it to the end so you have a chance to win this thing when it's all said and done. On the outside, Jose Ramirez now, he's going to try to make a move on the 89 of Matt Quick. All by himself, though, it's going to be tough to do as Connolly starts to soar away from him in front of them. As now...
Oh, we got trouble! Oh, the 64 slides up. He got really loose going out there. The 088, 75's in the wall. Oh, that was a big thing. I think what happened, though, is that the 088, whoa, big check up there. That was almost barely a miss from Seth the Merchant there. But what happened is that the 21, I think, got loose going into the turn, and that stacked up the whole field. Now we've got a 3-car breakaway here for the lead.
It all started with the 21 and the 64, as you had mentioned. Hedrick on the inside of the racetrack never gets into the 64 in front of him. You'll see the replay now. Halliner just kind of follows Rod Flag to the apron, tries to chase it up. It doesn't work. They squeeze through up top, and it's Jose Ramirez who ends up in a fence. No caution flag as nobody's spun out. We stay green and continue on through to lap number 21. Now the top 3 trying to pull a gap. But again, the top 3, it's extremely interesting right now because you got 2 Wicked Autosports machines. You have one of the, if not the single-handed most dominant team that you'll recognize immediately on the grid in this series in Hendrick Motorsports. Josh Paul splitting them right now. They're kind of in a tricky spot if they want to try to get together.
Yeah, they're in a tricky spot, but I think at the present time they're content, at least for the so far right now, as Hedrick now looks to the outside. Now that question for that 21 machine is the 48 drop up high, and Hedrick's going to choose to go back to that bottom side now. So still single file for all our top runners right now. Rod Flag, he's one that we watch week in and week out, try to make that top side happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him pull out there, but you know he's only going to do it if he's get some help. And here Hedrick keeps looking to the outside. I know it's not to get air on that nose to clear it out, because you know that he's there's been a gap between all these cars here, so they can't be running too hot right there. So I think Hedrick trying to test the waters, trying to see who might jump out with him and who might not, but we'll see as the time moves on. But single file seems to be the choice right now, but here goes Hedrick again to the outside, now back to the bottom on the back stretch.
Yeah, he had to actually check up the 26th there. Rod Flag had to get on the binders. That forced Chad Keen to the outside. He's now going to be the lone man on the outside, and it's going to make him fall all the way to the back here, showing that if you do not have any help, that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to get freight trained. He's going to lose at least several positions. And oh, Rodney Wofford get really loose there to the triangle. That was really close. He got some help from Glenn Hedrick there.
He'll keep things fun. He's able to hang on to it. Shane McKeechin that time through, going to put down the fastest lap of the race. Back in 17th position with a 45.815, guys. That is more than 4.1 seconds quicker than the pole time for tonight's feature race. Seth the Merchant, one of the guys stuck up top, he drops down in line. He wants no part of it, and very formally now, we single file things out and start that freight train yet again before I'm sure these guys get warmed up to take another couple of moves at things. However, with that, we cross the halfway point, and it's time for the iRacing.com midway race break, presented by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations and the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. Keep in mind that the results and the standings going to shuffle up a little bit, guys, but let's take a full look at the field and how they got there. We'll go through them 5 at a time. Peterson right now leads the race after starting in second. Behind him it's Josh Ball. Josh Ball leading laps as well. Stuck in no man's land as far as he doesn't have a lot of help with him. Behind him is teammate to race leader Rodney Wofford. Rodney riding in third, looking for a third win on the season. Glenn Hedrick, though, 13 spots to get the fourth. He's just kind of lurking back there. Rod Flag as well in fifth. Same boat, not making a lot of noise, just observing what's going on.
Yeah, right now in sixth is that 89 and Matt Quick doing a great job starting 18th all the way up to 6th place right now. Dan Harrington in that 82 machine, he's up to 7th. 8th place right now is that 11 of Kelly Dahl. He's had to avoid a couple big wrecks here as of late. The 088 of Ken Connolly sits 9th. And rounding out the top 10 right now is the 64 of Alex Allen.
Yeah, you got the number 43 of Stephanie Lessentine running there in 11th. She's actually battling right now with the, looks like the 78 of Tony Finn. Chris, who was running 13th at the time, but ahead of him was Chris Bassini running in 12th. Tony Finn 13th. 96 of Chad Keen 14th, and 42 of Seth the Merchant in 15th.
And continuing on through down where they run right now, 16th is Josue Ramirez. He started basically, no trouble in front of these guys. Look out, Seth the Merchant sideways. He's in the fence. Caution, there goes the 26. Down into the inside wall, the 75 to 96. They all spin. There's the caution flag. It will fly just as Seth the Merchant, who was right in that 15th spot that you had just noted. Problems on the front straightaway. Caution flag will fly at the halfway point in this one. And it all starts again, guys. Somebody getting sideways in the tri-oval. This time it's Tony Fenn. And Seth the Merchant, nowhere for him to go. The 78 comes up, just hits him in the front end. Kind of hooks him around. 3-car spin. Seth goes around on the racing surface. That what triggered the actual caution flag. The guys that split on the inside, Chad Keen and Josue Ramirez, get away rather okay. But a tough break for Seth the Merchant again. Triggers the yellow.
Yeah, unfortunate for Seth the Merchant, and that is going to probably put him out of the races. He's actually already used his reset, so unfortunately for Seth the Merchant, that's going to pretty much be the night for him, unless by some miracle every single other person wrecks. I doubt it, but I've seen crazier things in this series, Andy, and I mean, you'd never know what's going to happen, but Seth the Merchant, one of our top contenders out of this race.
Yeah, big winner earlier on tonight in the trucks, Seth the Merchant. So, yeah, a lot of big names having some issues this week. We know a couple of them didn't qualify for this race, notably the number 88 of Jorgensen Jr. not in this race. Now we got big names that are going to find themselves way down at the bottom of the points for this race here. And it's one of them things, and it comes with restrictor plate racing, the big unknown, the big of you don't know what's going to happen till it happens, and when it happens, you just hope that you're not involved with it. So Seth the Merchant, tough night here tonight for him, and I know he'll want to bounce back here next week.
So with that, we crossed the halfway point. This race now halfway done and halfway to go. And as I mentioned when we talked about the strategy in the B main, once you pass the halfway point, things start to go by a lot quicker. This restart could leave us with about 17 laps to go. Until then, we'll step away for a quick moment, go LSRTV non-stop. Back from Talladega in a moment for feature race number 6. You're watching the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV. Back live at the Talladega Super Speedway, still working under the caution flag, and you'll take a look at the replay. A little bit of interesting stuff going on that time down on the pit lane. Again, all these drivers coming in, completing service. 40 to Josh Ball in the number 3 pit stall, trying to get as much gas on it to beat the Savado Wofford out of pit road. And, well, he spins it out. In doing so, is able to get that car back up the speed. The sim gives him the spot back, so I guess all in all, it ends up in a positive for him because he's in the race lead. However, I do see some left rear damage on the low Chevrolet right now up front.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage there on the 48, it looks like, and there's some pretty significant damage on the 43 of Stephanie Lessentine there. She didn't really have that much time to check up. All she saw was another pink car in front of her, and she just had to get it out of it really, really quick, and unfortunately for her, she got a little bit of damage there. Hopefully it won't be too significant because she's standing on track there, and I don't think she's used her reset yet, but again, with Stephanie, you can never really tell. So, apparently she has been a big wreck, according to my co-commentators. But right now we're going to do one of my favorite things, winding down to the race. I know Andy and Evan don't like this game, but we're going to call it Haggerty's Hell House. So, no, what can we call it, Evan? Haggerty's House of Horrors. And that's going to be where we pick.
We can call it whatever we want. Andy's still going to jinx somebody with whoever he picks.
I'm going to do it.
All right, Andy, go first.
The 48 is going to win this race. The man to beat right there.
Evan?
Well, I wish the best for Josh Ball and his sponsors.
Yeah, because he's going to kill me next Friday night when we're in the booth.
He's up front. He's going strong. You look at the chase grid, and Josh Ball not on that list, so he wants to get up there. But I mean, I'm liking Rod Flag. Rod Flag likes to play the strategy of, again, when he went on to win his iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series Championship, he did so without a single win. I think you might need a win just to make it into the chase this time around, and I think Rod Flag's got on the right track. The only thing I'm not liking is he's on the outside, so it'll be tough, but I'm liking the 26 right now.
I'm actually going to go with two people here right now. I know I'm probably going to jinx both of them, but I'm going to go with the two rookies there on the inside. The 89 and the 64, Matt Quick and Alex Handler. They've actually kept their nose pretty decently clean here tonight, so I would really look for the rookies because we still don't have, every year we usually have an underdog in the chase. It's about time we have an underdog in the chase.
Well, they're going to take another crack at it, and again, now this time through restart coming up, 16 laps to go. We're back in that B main situation where a caution flag now takes up a quarter of the remaining laps. If you want to join the party, you better decide to do so. You might want to do it rather quickly. So Josh Ball trying to get $5 in the I-5 bonus, trying to get a win and a trophy. He'll be the car that leads us back to the green flag. The pace car gets down and out of the way, ducking to the safety of pit road. We cycle through the tri-oval, the 48 down the front row with Glenn Hedrick. Green flag flies and back and away we go. They'll beat him back up the speed down to 1. A great jump from the inside. No problems for the 48, at least to turn 1.
No, he had a good restart right there. The top side had to check up just a little bit. Not sure if somebody spun just a little bit. It wasn't too much. Didn't cause any issues right now, but the 48 getting a good push right now from that 89 machine of Matt Quick. Matt Quick doing a great job here on this restart to get him the push. The 71 of Peterson, he's on the inside road trying to make it happen. He's now side by side. That's a battle for third with Hedrick.
Yeah, but look at this outside line. They are stacked up as best we have seen them all day long. And they finally have a good amount of cars up there. Well, they did there for a second, but they still have a decent amount of cars there to make a run here. As Glenn Hedrick goes to the outside, Christian Peterson tries to come up here. Glenn Hedrick had no part of it. He wants to try to make a run for the lead now. And Peterson, he's going to jump right up in front of Glenn Hedrick there as they go off into 1.
And nobody's going to play nice from here on out. It's pretty much go or go home, and you know that if you want to go somewhere, you're probably not going to pass people on the inside. It's going to be a revolving door at the front of the field, I feel, for quite some time. Nobody going down to the bottom for the first time, guys. The outside's got more cars this time. Down the back straightaway to turn number 1. 71 machine on the outside needs help from the 21. Christian Peterson took back-to-back race wins in the Rod Car Truck Tour, wants to put himself in a championship-worthy spot in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. One of the biggest storylines on the season being him. He's run so strong contact. Rod Flag is going to knock down to the apron. They scatter going to turn 1. It looks like we'll make it through.
Yeah, Rod Flag did a great job right there at controlling that car, keeping it straight, keeping it going in the right direction, able to move back up and merge into traffic. Everybody gave him a little bit of room. So Rod Flag, as we look at a side-by-side replay of what just happened there, as we continue to watch our leaders battle this thing out side-by-side for fourth place. The 71 still trying to make something happen, but that combo right now just isn't working with that 71-21.
Yeah, that combo of Glenn Hedrick and Christian Peterson is just not working. Their only hope is until they fall back to number 1 and Chris Passini. Passini been one of the best pushers all night. Rod Flag again gets loose of the triangle. He's on the apron there, and he's not going to come back. He slows up to give those guys a chance. Rod Flag, unfortunately, is out of this race. And we got another trouble. 11 sideways going through 2. He manages to save it.
That's 2 guys that probably should have wrecked, and now the caution flag will fly. Trouble, and it looks like it's in 1 and 2. Caution flag will fly. It's Kelly Dahl around. Heavy black smoke will pour out of the back of the Club Canada number 11. That's the car that we had seen save it down in the middle of 1 and 2. A spectacular save at that. Stuck, though, in a spot where could never really get an entire handle on it, and eventually that thing went all the way around at a turn number 2, and a pretty heavy lick into the outside wall for the 11 machine to Kelly Dahl brings out the caution flag.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there. Fortunate thing that No one else was involved there but the 11 and Kelly Dahl, just having one of those nights. He was involved in a couple incidents early on. Actually was able to miss a couple also. So it's been an adventurous night, to say the least, for that 11 machine.
Yeah, it's been an adventurous night, definitely. But I'll tell you what's been an adventurous night for a lot of these guys. Look at the top 6 right now. Of all those guys up there in the top 6, only one of them started in the top 10. And I gotta tell you what, these guys, Shane McEachin, who we thought was not gonna make it into the A main, wrecked out of the B main, got lucky and had Jorgensen have some trouble there, and made it here. Now look where he's running. He's 6th in the A main, coming here to the last final laps.
This caution probably going to stretch us to lap number 40. And again, that's another big step in the direction of this one coming to an end. And in doing so, again, very close to the point where we're going to give out another trophy. 15 minutes left or so on the clock. I don't think the clock going to be a factor in this race. Again, these races as well restricted at 1 hour and 5 minutes for the A main. So I think we're good in that regard. Update on those guys that racked out. Kelly Dahl's on pit road. I believe that may be a DNF due to the fact that he drove it back. Karsten D. John Tomaso's out there. He's getting wave bys, but he's 5 laps down. Other than that, 23 guys are still on the lead lap right now. That's a pretty high number. And, that's, basically what we had running at the end of the B main. And that showed us that that doesn't calm things down at all. Tonight, race number 6. If you weren't with us 1 week ago, one of the exciting new extended endurance events that we saw on the 2015 Season 5 calendar, the Revved Up 300. That one won by Brandon Chiburko, as you mentioned, Andy. He doubled up with a Rod Car Truck Tour win and the win in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. Doubled it up. He won that one, led 23 laps. Josh Ball led 10 laps to come home in second. Donnie Guarantano would come home with a third. It was Glenn Hedrick, Jason Altmans, Ray Rittenauer, Daniel Ferguson, Greg Cooks, Mitchell Reeves, Chad Keene throughout the top 10 finishers. Chiburko, again, not here tonight. He won't be here for the next 3 weeks. Josh Ball, you got to feel, pretty dejected to an extent. He's leading the race now, sure, but you finish second to a guy that gets the win and now might not even use it to get into the championship. It's all about what ifs.
Yeah, what if this, what if that? It's an ever evolving door, and that's why we run these races. That's why we do what we do. You can't miss them. You got to be here. It's just, there's so much can happen in so quick of time. You could be running top 5 all night long, fast car, get down to the end, one mistake by yourself, hitting the apron, touching the apron, get yourself out of whack, all of a sudden you're finishing last. This is a great example of that tonight with how many cars are still left on the lead lap. One mistake, a little bobble, and you end up getting sent way to the back. You got to take a look at what happened to Rod Flagg there, just his past run there, running in the top 5, has a little issue on the tri-oval there, gets loose, and now look where he's at right now, sitting 22nd, lost all that points, all that ground up, and we're talking about a guy who wants to get a win to get himself locked in this chase. Right there, that's an example of how quickly things can change at Talladega.
Yeah, definitely. And Rod Flagg, again, a past champion, so he definitely knows how to win. But again, you can't always, with this new build, you can't always be that lone wolf. You gotta make something happen, and you can't always be the dark horse who just sits back there and rides their way in on points. Because now, in these last at least 2 seasons, you've been having to get a win just to make it into the chase, and it's really important. It's a win in your in situation. And again, I'm going to go back to these top 5 guys who we barely talk about at all other than Josh Ball. Greg Hooks is up there, a guy who's been a bridesmaid a lot of times, never a bride for a championship. But you got those guys like the 82 of Dan Harrington, 64 of Alex Handler, and the 89 of Matt Quick. I mean, so anybody can bring home this race, because according to my calculations, we're coming up on the 38 lap mark, and so that means if we get a caution within the 42 lap mark, this technically is going to end the race.
Lights off at a pace car. Green flag will come at lap 40, so that does give us about a 2-lap window. That if they want to get one more pile up in there, then you can still go back green flag racing. If it comes 43 on, you can pretty much guarantee that it'll be a checker and a yellow flying together. All these guys, though, want to make it to the end, and it's interesting, Andy, because we saw in that B main, when it was all on the line, they probably drove the hardest they had all race, and we made it to the end 4 laps when they were going at it. So just because you know that this is going to get crazy does not guarantee we see a caution flag.
No, because that's when everyone's up on that wheel. That's when they're all eyes are forward. All eyes are, the reaction time is great because, they're up on the wheel. They're up knowing that this thing's coming to the end. They got to get up on that wheel. They got to get things done. They got to make the right decisions. So that's when I think these guys are at their best, is when the pressure's on and when it's time to go.
And keep an eye on that 89 of Matt Quick, because he's got to get a really good restart here, just like the 48 did a couple restarts ago. And I tell you what, Matt's, again, he's going to have a great restart. He's also going to have a lot of help here. He's got to have that outside line form like it did the last time, and he's just got to pray that these guys can push him to the front here.
So we cycle at a quarter number 4 and get set to do it for maybe one final time. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car going to make that sharp left-hand turn down through the grass, taking out the cone. It gets the job done, though, down to the pit lane. Josh Ball, one more restart maybe is all he needs to hang on to it. Big gap between the cars on the outside lane. Green flag drops, underway we go. Small check up to the bottom, but both cars on the front row pulling away. Don't have much support down to turn 1. That'll keep them honest, though, and side by side in the corner. First car to get through a back bumper. The checkers entry. How about Alex Hallinar in a main and a spot to win this thing in second?
Yeah, Alex Hallinar there on the inside, but look at who's coming here on the outside. It's the number 89, the rookie of Matt Quick. He's being pushed by one of the veterans, Dan Harrington. We usually see Harrington usually running towards the back, but he's going to be making a big charge here for the leads. He's got help from the 28 of Shane McKeechan as they come out of 4.
Power move right there off of turn number 4. Hallinar's going to clear him now. The battle's side by side. That's for third. The 89 of Quick's got the advantage. The top.
Oh, they're wrecking. Rod flag is wrecked into tri-oval, and caution is not out, though.
So trouble for Rod Flag again. He way back in the tri-oval had those problems. He's going to get turned by the 8. The car goes all the way around, though. Sim not going to trigger the caution flag. The track gets cleared. The leader still well before they're going to reach the front straightaway. No caution. We stay green this time by. We take lap number 42 and continue on in the chase for the checkered flag. They get single filed out now. Nobody on the outside of the racetrack wants to work with or is helping Matt Quick. He's going all the way back to the 82. We'll go side by side and see the problems for Rod Flag, but it is on. Who steps out of line first? Again, guys, Russian roulette at the front of the field.
Yeah, Russian roulette is what we're talking about right now. Hallinar just content right now to be glued to that 48 machine as they get off of turn number 2 right there, down the back straightaway. Look at the 98 of Greg Hooks. He has made his way up to that third spot. Who's going to step out first? Only time will tell. The top side, though, Quick, he's 96, of Chad Keene is the first car on the outside. Quick now, he's falling backwards in a hurry. Way back in the field is now the top 5 are single file. The battle is side by side for 6. That's McKeechan on the outside with Peterson to his inside.
There goes Hedrick, too.
Here comes the outside Glenn Hendrick and
contact!
McKeechin. Oh, and the 42
that's
is
it!
the first. There they go. That's going to be it.
McKeechin around the
up
front
in
of
the back.
the field. Big
Caution
trouble
flag.
down in 1 and 2. Caution flag will fly. Josh Hanner in the number 24, one of the drivers involved. And Josh Ball right at lap number 43. He's out. He's in front of the chaos. And that should be enough to lock him up a checkered flag and a ticket into the Season 5 iSuper Chase as we take a look at the replay.
Wow, what a win by Josh Hanner. I'm pretty sure he's going to come away with the win here. Or Josh Ball, excuse me. What a win by Josh Ball. Yes, I know, guys, I screwed it up, but that wreck all started from a big... it looks like, yeah, the number 28, Shane McKeechin, got a big run on the 21 of Glenn Hendrick. Went to the outside, decided he wasn't going to have a good run, came back down, but the problem is the number 96 of Chad Keene was already there, and Keene just had nowhere to go, and it was just on from there.
And with that, we, have to knock on wood and mention that, again, the 48, he's got to make it around, assuming we don't see any problems under the caution flag for him. He should be able to drive it around at a slow pace and get it. However, right this time by, they're going to take lap number 45 of 47. So if they do not get 2 laps to go this time through, it will confirm that the race is indeed in the books. And again, we thought that the truck race was going to be done. They still squeaked it a restart, this time not on time. We're talking about laps. iRacing's been known to throw some curveballs at you as far as when does that caution flag come out, as far as how long does it take. It all has to do with how many cars are laps down. Most of the guys laps down, all besides Rod Flag, aren't on track, so they really don't have to leave pit road open for an additional time around. So we'll get an official word right here.
Yeah, and we're going to get the official word right here. Pace car coming by. Pace lights remain on, and your winner tonight, unless he can not make it around, is going to be Josh Ball. And Andy, looks like the curse is over.
The curse is over. I think I need to go to Victory Lane and steal that trophy.
I think I told him that I think if he wins, he owes me the $5 for the i5 bonus, but because you didn't jinx it, maybe he'll split that with you.
No, you can have the $5. I want the trophy. I'll put the trophy on the mantle. I'll steal that one. Well, I'll just give him my address.
Well, you survived Haggerty's Hell House, so I'm proud of you.
So we look now, guys.
There's a first time for everything.
We look back on this feature race. Feature race 6. It appears to be in the books tonight. It's Talladega. There's no lights, so we weren't under the lights tonight. But it was a overcast sky. But I'll tell you what. A lot of cautions tonight. We talked about the track conditions, it being a little bit cooler, it as well being a little bit muggy. A lot of the incidents really were just things that come out of nowhere. But one thing that I'm noticing is since we've gotten these dynamic racetracks is a lot more cars are getting loose. That was a big problem tonight.
Yeah, you know what it is they're heating up the track. They're all running that bottom line for 30, 40 laps at a time. And it probably would have been worse, honestly, Evan, if it stayed green, if we had longer green flag runs. So, and maybe it could have been worse for some of these guys if it did run that long under green flag. Or, maybe this was a blessing in disguise to have a few extra cautions that we didn't see a lot more guys have any trouble with that. But that dynamic track's definitely playing an effect as these tracks heat up with the tire wear. And over the longer parts of these races, it definitely affects the handling of these cars and really puts it back into the driver's hands.
That time by 2 laps to go, and the lights do not go off for the pace car, so this one is going to be an official race. The pace car may turn its lights off, duck down on the white flag lap. We've seen that many a time before. However, that would still be a checker and a yellow together at the same time. So it looks like Josh Ball will be able to hang on. 19 guys on the lead lap. You talk about guys that don't have good runs tonight. Rodney Wofford started up front. Looks like he'll finish 19th. He's caught up in that final incident. His car junked. Big names back there. Carson DiGiantommaso, another night for him where it was rough off going. looked promising, and then had more problems. Rod Flanagan to come home way down the pile. That's going to hurt Rod, who's, again, right now in on points. Not by a whole lot over the cut line. He was only in by 2 points into tonight over Rod Mitten. Rod Mitten holding the final transfer spot, and Rod Mitten just in front of Ryan Keys. So, a couple of guys behind there. If you're talking about a guy like Glenn Hendrick, could try to make up a lot on this night. He had a relatively solid finish. Jorgensen could have stand to gain a lot. He doesn't make the race. So, there's so many different factors on. You miss the A main. That's going to be bad enough for you as it is, but you're going to miss the A main maybe the one time somebody gives you a chance to make up ground on them.
Yeah, definitely. But, these guys... were you going to say something, Eddie? I'm sorry. I interrupted you there.
No, you're fine. It just, when you're talking about being able to capitalize on other people's mistakes, and when you have the opportunity to possibly do that, but then you have things go not your way at the same time. So it happens in this sport. Things happen so quickly. We saw it right there as well with the big wreck, and guys like, you didn't mention them quite yet, but Rod Flagg just having a great, Dan Harrington even running up front most of this race, and just one little thing, that's all it takes, and it'll end up ruining your night. So.
So we said that this is going to be the 48th race, assuming he can make it to the end. A lot of guys involved in that incident struggling to make it home. I don't think Matt Quick's going to make it. It looks like he lost his engine. He's amongst some other company back in the pack. He'll got to make it there. And race control reminding these guys that if you don't have an engine, you can't have somebody push you to the finish, because I believe the two might have lost his engine. Seth the Merchant offered to help him out, but he can't do that.
Yeah, you definitely can't do that. But going back to the points again, I'm just looking at them right now, and this is actually going to be a good night for some of those guys who need to make up in points. You talk about maybe the number 1 of Chris Bassini, who's coming in 9th, and is in 12th in points right now. These guys ahead of him, Jorgensen, Mitten, Quick, they all had a bad night. And I'm getting note that we had a engine blown. The 89 of Matt Quick blew his motor there. I think we covered that. But Evan, they're coming around here in 3 and 4. Why don't you take us to the checker flag? As Just Ball is going to come away with this win.
The pace car going to lead us out of 4 indeed. It's a sharp-looking one at that. iRacing continuing their partnership with the American Childhood Cancer Organization, and maybe the pace car driver in contention for Goodyear's Superior Performer of the race. Josh Ball, though, he'll beg to differ. He'll get the job done. It took 6 races in, but coming through the trial vote for the final time, it'll fly alongside a yellow. Checkered flag flies, though. Feature race number 6 goes to the Lowe's Chevrolet. Josh Ball, yet again, a winner in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. And with that, he'll thrust himself into the top 7 on the chase grid. Yeah, congratulatory bump. Greg Cook's giving him some love.
I'm just glad I didn't jinx him, because I think it would have been a lot of payback.
You would owe him a trophy.
Yeah, something. I might have been in some trouble next Friday when we're broadcasting the truck race when he's up in the booth with us. So I'm very happy that I didn't jinx him this time.
So the 48 going to try to make it around. He'll celebrate this win. And again, he gets not a guarantee, but he'll go to the top 7 in points with that win. He'll join now 6 other drivers on the chase grid. And with that leaves just 3 spots remaining on points. However, guys, there's still plenty more than 3 races left before we make the chase cutoff. We'll step away because it looks like they might have to push the Lowe's Chevrolet to Gatorade victory lane as Josh Ball slows to a coast, coming out of number 4. In the meantime, though, he is your race winner, and welcome to the chase grid. Josh Ball, your winner from Talladega. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Alex Halliner. We'll talk to Greg Cooks, the post-race show on LSRTV. Gonna wrap up another exciting Friday night doubleheader in just a moment. Stay with us.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Back live at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. This presentation of the iSuperspeedway.com racing series on LSRTV becomes to a close tonight after another exciting Friday night doubleheader. Josh Ball, the big winner tonight, is able to go on and take home the checkered flag as well. He'll join the chase grid. But before that, going to pass things down. Jared Haggerty, you've caught up in the pit lane. Greg Cook's a very strong run tonight. He'll go from 12th to 3rd to sit on the podium, and you've caught up with him down in his pit stop.
Yeah, we caught up with the number 98 Big City Motorsports car, Greg Hooks. And Greg, you had a great run. Tell us how you got your way all the way up to 3rd and were able to work your way through the field.
Yeah, I won the dash tonight, so I knew I was able to run up front tonight and compete for a win. But in the A main, I just wanted to take it slow after the first couple wrecks and stay alive. And I managed to save my reset. But we were 18th when we got one of those cautions there at the end, and I took 2 tires and came out in the top 7, I think it was. And I was just able to do the guys that were trapped on the outside and up to 5th and make a run for 3rd on the last restart.
You were making it look very easy tonight. Let's talk about a little bit of the handling issues we saw going on throughout the race. So we noticed that a bunch of cars were getting really loose there, either on exit or through the tri-oval. What did you notice was new with the car with this new dynamic track going in Talladega?
Pretty much the same deal we've had the past few weeks, with the car wanting to brake sideways if you're not paying attention. I took 2 tires. I took left sides instead of right, like I should have. So I was drifting through the tri-oval there at the end. There was one lap, I don't know if you can see it on the broadcast, but I almost lost it going through the tri-oval. So it's definitely a challenge, but as long as you're paying attention and know what to expect, you should be fine.
Well, as always, we look forward to seeing you race every week. Could you give us your sponsors and shout-outs? Who makes it happen for you in the big city, guys?
I want to thank Laura and everybody with LSRTV. I want to thank Rod for putting on the show and keeping us all together. I want to thank everybody at Big City Motorsports. Derek, he's not here tonight, but I'm sure he's showing his teeth wherever he's at. Chris, for making these pretty and pink paint schemes that we're going to be running. I won't be here the next 2 weeks, so hopefully I'll get to run it the 30th or whenever. I want to thank everybody that worked with us tonight. I also want to give a shout out to Rodney Wofford, who wanted me to mention Miss Bassini.
Well, we thank you, and I'm sure Rodney's wife appreciates that as well. But that is the number 98 of Greg Hooks. The Big City Motorsports comes home in 3rd, and I believe Andy is caught up with the number 64 Checkers Bill of Alex Handler. Andy, how's it looking down there with him?
Yes, I have caught up with our second place finisher, Alex Hellner, and the 64 machine was quick tonight. You've been fast all night long in the B main as well. Tonight, though, there was something different. It just seemed like everything worked out your way. You were on the correct lines when you needed to be. You were able to get yourself up here in the second place.
Yeah, definitely. Things definitely went my way tonight. There was definitely a few wrecks at the beginning, which I feel like I should have been involved, but I just somehow narrowly avoided it.
You did what you had to do to get up to the front. At any point there on that last restart, was it in your mind what to do? Did you have any strategy coming into to maybe try to get around that 48, or were you pretty content to just ride there and maybe hope he made a mistake?
I was pretty content staying in second. I didn't want to make a move that would drop me 10 to 15 spots. I don't know how many people are on the lead lap, but I didn't want to make a huge mistake like that. I was happy with second. It locks me into the field next week, gets me into the I-5 challenge. I don't really know what it's officially called, but that I-5 bonus thing. And just second, I'll take it. I improved my best finish of 17th in the series to second. I'll definitely take it any day, any week, and I can't feel any more happier than I think I am what I am right now.
Yeah, it's got to boost a lot of confidence there starting tonight. 16th, working it all the way up to second. Confidence, we talk about that a lot in racing. Momentum, all that stuff. How much do you think this is going to actually help and carry this over into the weeks to come?
Oh, it's definitely gonna help. This season has not gone the way that it has. I've missed a lot of races just because of just stupid stuff happening in the B main, and even in the two A mains I've done, and just stupid stuff happening in that, which have really taken me out of a good finish, even though I kind of run up front all day. I'm really happy that today kind of went the way it did.
Yeah, for once, you can say that the script went the way it was supposed to go. Well, a great job here tonight. Second place finish. Obviously, top finish in your career here at iSuperspeedway.com. Who do you want to give a big shout out to and a thanks for getting you here tonight?
Well, actually, before I thank people, I want to say sorry to Matt Bumtempe there in the B main. I feel like that wreck, the first caution, was partially my fault. It was just me kind of being a little too aggressive and trying to get to the bottom lanes. I saw the outside lane wasn't working, and I just want to apologize for him for that because he used up one of his quick repairs there, and just I feel like that might be part of the reason why I didn't make it into the A main like I did. But to thank people, I gotta firstly thank my dad. He pays for my subscription. I need to thank all these guys in this league for it's a really nice community. Definitely feels nice to be in here. I gotta thank you guys at LSRTV. I would have not found out about this league until I watched it on YouTube one night. I gotta thank Laura especially. She does a lot behind the scenes, and if any of you watching this, she's who to thank really for putting this on. I gotta thank iRacing in general for being a pretty good simulation, and I just feel honored to be part of their iRacing live broadcast tonight. It's amazing.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations again, Alex, on this fantastic run. Great finish here. Hopefully, the momentum and all this carries you forward here in the weeks to come.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll be talking to you in the next couple of weeks.
That's what we like to hear. There he is, second place finisher, Alex Eleanor for tonight. And Evan, you've caught up with the winner, the big cheese of the night here, the 48 machine of Josh Ball.
Like it's what we like to hear, and this is somebody that we've heard for much of the night tonight. Caught up down in Gatorade Victory Lane with Josh Ball, your winner tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway. Josh, long time no see. You get the win tonight, and I'll tell you what, we told you right after that there, but Andy picked you to win. It didn't jinx you. You guys got the job done. You're now on the chase grid. Congratulations.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, I heard Andy pick me, and I was like, "Oh, Lord."
That's bad news.
I was like, "Yeah, it's bad news. We all know that in a broadcast booth." And I was like, "Oh dear." I just figured something was gonna happen, like I blow a tire, or run out of gas, or something ridiculous,
Loose
or it started raining in the game, or something. Whatever. But I gotta thank everybody at Lowe's tonight. My sponsor every week. Got pink on the car for breast cancer awareness this month, and it's great to get that car back in victory lane. It was a good race out there.
We saw a lot of guys getting loose. That's been a common theme, and we've discussed that a lot in the trucks and here as well. But a lot of guys spinning in the tri-oval. A lot of this race was spent into the caution flag. We know that you guys would have liked to get more green flag racing in both the B and the A mains, but a lot of times there were a couple of incidents that you guys got away with where somebody would break sideways in the middle of the corner. Next thing you know, everybody's scattering. Did the 48 have any of those handling issues, or were things fine up front?
Oh, definitely. I was talking with a couple of the guys riding everything, and the 48 was loose too, on quarter entry, and every time you get right near the yellow line, or the trial was actually the worst. I was actually having to start to lift a little bit towards the end of that long run before we pitted. It just, when you started going over the bumps, it felt like the rear end just wanted to kick out sideways. So had to lift towards the end of the run just because everybody was getting so loose. But after that pit stop, and when Jared Haggerty, I guess, was on pit road, he threw some oil out there, and I spun out coming out of the pit somehow. And after that, those two tires, the two right side tires I took, actually tightened the car up, and it was actually a lot better. So.
Well, with this win, again, you bump yourself up. You're now a part of the chase grid, but I mentioned at the end of this one, that means 7 drivers with wins so far, 3 spots left on points. To get a different format from what we saw last year, which was all the winners get in, and then if you're in the top 5 at overall points without a win, you join them. We're capped at 10, so there's 3 spots left on points, much more than 3 races to go, which means that you guys are not quite locked in yet. What can you do to get another one to make sure it's guaranteed?
Just gotta go out there every week, race hard. We got good cars week in and week out. We had a good qualifying this week. Having a little bit of trouble with that recently. Not sure what the problem was. I actually thought I laid down a terrible lap, and somehow I ended up starting P3 on the grid. So maybe I should run more terrible laps, and maybe I'll actually get the pole here and there. But otherwise, I think going out there racing hard each week, just really being consistent, like we talked about in the truck race, just consistently try to get a couple top 5s, and just hopefully here on out, just don't get any DNFs, and I should be fine, but I'd like to get another win, that's for sure.
You like to get another win, not only to add on to that padding, but it never hurts to get another piece of hardware. You get the win tonight, and I know, a big part of helping us out here on Friday nights, so we talk to you all the time during the truck race, but you get the job done on the big boy stage tonight. You get the win. You're right on that chase grid now. We wish you the best of luck, of course, going forward. Sponsors and shout-outs on the driver side of things, who you want to thank?
Yeah, definitely Lowe's, like I said earlier. Week in, week out, I always have them on the...
I did drive by a Lowe's, by the way, today. I didn't go specifically to it, but I did go by one. For the rest
I went to Lowe's today, though.
Oh, even better. Andy, you must have shopped at Lowe's for a couple of hours then to pick me. But
no, actually, I saw you up front. I was trying to jinx you.
To
have some issues,
wow.
and then you go and you break the curse, and you end up winning. So either way, it works.
Yeah. Also got to thank Alex and Greg Hooks behind me there. They did a good job pushing on that last restart. We were able to break away on the bottom. I know the top line was a little bit better this evening a couple times, so I was out there once or twice. And thanks for Rod Flag to push me to the point at one point. Obviously, Rod Flag again for putting on the league. You guys coming on every week, doing a great broadcast, both for the doubleheader. So otherwise, got pink on the car for breast cancer awareness. Everybody be aware. And that's about it. Thanks again, Evan, Andy, and Jared, and again, Laura.
All right, well, thanks for sticking around and chat. We'll let you get back to the team room. Josh, again, congratulations. We'll see you, and we'll speak with you next Friday night.
Thanks, Evan.
So that, again, your winner tonight, Josh Ball, guys, gets the job done, and he goes on to win it tonight at Talladega. And again, that continues to build an ever-evolving chase grid that I'm sure only is going to continue to change in the weeks to come. We're so much still on the line, and although a lot of these guys had wins, and for the last couple of years, Jared, I'll go to you first to wrap things up here. For the last couple of years, a win was pretty much good enough. This season, not quite.
No, definitely not. And I mean, it's going to be tough for the rest of these guys who've not got a win just to even come close to making it in, because it looks like a different winner every week is going to pretty much put you in. But for the record, going back to Josh Ball, I'd like to point out that the oil I got and put in front of his pit stall was from Lowe's that I bought. So, Andy, I mean, with these guys running as hard as they are the last few weeks, I mean, what do you expect here going forward in the last 3 races?
Well, you only got 3 more races to get that guaranteed spot. Like Evan said, though, there is a possibility you could actually have a win and not make it in. So a lot of pressure on these guys, even for that 48 machine. He gets the win tonight, but there's still the pressure. He's still got to finish well in these remaining races just to ensure that a spot in that chase grid. So a lot of these guys, they think they're another guy we talked about. Chaburko gets the win last week. He's going to have his work cut out for him next week, or excuse me, 3 weeks from now when he comes back from his suspension. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I can't wait because each week it unfolds even more and more. We get a better perspective of what it's going to be. But right now, I'm liking what I see. A lot of first-time winners of the series, and a lot of first-time winners of the season, also. So it's getting pretty scattered out, but it should make things a lot interesting coming up in the next 3 weeks.
And what I can tell you with that is, again, that theme most likely going to continue on into the weeks to come. And with that, round number 6, feature race number 6, is in the books. Do want to give a big thanks as well to iRacing, and for those tuned in, if you're watching on iRacing Live, you can find out more about us here at LSRTV, home of the 2015-16 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, online at livesimracing.com or on our Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Also, like the driver said, we'll say as well a big thanks to the Rod Car Board of Directors, Rod Flag, Frank Basilia, Josh Hannert, and all of the drivers on the General Council and the sponsors for the races as well. Without them, we can't be here, and it's always fun on a Friday night. You can find out more information on them if you want to become a part of it, iSuperspeedway.com. You can also find them on Twitter at iSuperspeedway, or on Facebook. It's facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. Does wrap things up, though, round number 6, as we have forementioned, in the books, and there is still plenty of racing left to go before we get down to business. A win, kind of scary to think now in a 2015 Season 5 season where, since the implementation of the chase, you've been good. A win doesn't mean a whole lot unless you're Ronnie Wofford up at the top of the pile right now with 2. That is everybody's goal. You got guys scrapping for their lives. There's suspensions coming into play. It's getting fun, and it's the bulk of the season. We'll see you next Friday night. Until then, on behalf of the crew tonight, a big thanks as well on behalf of myself, Evan Pasoko, for Jared Haggerty, Andy Kessler, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson. We thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations to Josh Ball. He's a winner. He's now on the chase grid. Good night from Talladega. We'll see you next Friday night when we go back-to-back yet again.